Run it, I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. Yeah, I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, run it. Ooh, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my pen ready. Used to hold myself back, my self-esteem damn bad. Gotta keep on chugging, ran through everything in front of me. Might smoke bed in heaven, got a whole agenda. Can't aspire to get ahead, so bump that, it's no surrender. Got a dollar flipped up, I'm trying to get it in FT to get them when they're in hand and crypto, learn how to.
Alright folks, welcome back to another edition of Hoogie Boy Trades. Let's talk about a crazy day. We had a little dip, but you know, Jerome Powell got us ripping again. So back to looking at those targets. We're really close to that 41.05 I've been talking about the last basically last month. I think we can head to that 42.21 into the end of the year. We might see a little dip back down into 40.50 overnight, possibly. I can see that retest happening, but this daily candle is strong, and I'm expecting to see 42.21 by the end of the year fairly easily now. As long as we get those jobs numbers on Friday and they're still going in the direction that the Fed wants to see them going in. So we're going to look at the levels. I'm going to also talk a little bit about this Tesla fiasco tonight. Tesla's finally starting to reverse. I think it put in a short-term bottom down there when it got under 170. So there's just bears flowing in on this thing like crazy. So we're going to talk a little bit about that nonsense too tonight. But anyways, let's talk about these levels on SPX first. We got up to 40.80 during market hours today. This daily candle right here is definitely strong. Like I said, we got this gap up to 42.21 up here from the previous highs back in August. So that's kind of what I'm looking for into the end of the year. Like I said, we could come down here and retest the 40.30 to 40.50 areas. Probably, decent level to kind of think about, especially if we get these job numbers, and we got core PCE tomorrow as well. But Jerome Powell also talked about the PCE today in his speech. So I don't think we're going to have no surprises in the morning from that. So I think we're pretty safe to, get a nice little Santa rally this year. So like I said, we're looking for 42.21 in the end of the year still, which we were before today. So I'm continuing with that thesis. But right now, we want to focus on, trimming down some of those longs since we got the move today. And also, we got out of some shorts that we took this week. So obviously, the beginning of the week, I was looking for that downside that we did get. We got, down to that 39.40 area and caught some nice moves on that. The runners we had going into Powell, obviously we had to cut those fast. It was kind of beautiful today. Let me look at I'll show you on the 15-minute how we played this. Because it gave us a real nice entry if you were on it. More like the 5-minute. I think that's a better one to look at. Yeah, here we go. All right, so we were short from the other day, and we took some off down here. When we got on 39.40, when Powell started speaking, you notice we just went crazy. This was actually when the first guy, the guy that announced Powell coming out. I'm not even sure who that was. He walked out, and this market shot up, to 39.80 immediately. Looked like it rejected, but then Powell started talking. It caught. We got up here, and it looked like one of those signals where a lot of bears were probably thinking, all right, that was fake, and we're going to turn this thing around and just dump it. Well, that didn't happen. We dipped back down to 39.80 on ES, 39.73, 74 area on SPX. But when we bounced back up to 39.80, this was your spot to start looking long. Between 39.80 and 39.90 on ES, you had a perfect entry to get long because it was clear from this pullback and then bounce, you had these 2-3 strong wicks in a row showing the buying pressure. We just launched from there. So we caught SPX, and we just ran at 700%. This offered another nice entry up here. I actually took some calls up here too when we dipped down and retested 40.30 on ES. And then we took off from there and headed towards, we finished around 40.90 or so. So we did end up swinging some. I think this thing can continue. But we did get out of most of our long option plays today because we got the move obviously we're looking for. We got up close to 4,100 in one day. Obviously the NASDAQ moved up over 4%. The S&P shot up over 3%. So it was a beautiful day. Beautiful day for longs. And as far as that's kind of what I'm looking at for tomorrow. I'm looking for a continuation, maybe a little bit of pullback. Like I said, we could retest 40.30 to 40.50, but I think the bulls definitely found control now, and we can see a rally into the end of the year, barring any other outside, influences as far as something crazy happening geopolitically that we're not aware of yet. So, like I said, I've been a bull. I'm gonna stay a bull, and we're gonna ride this thing in the end of the year and see what happens. Now, as far as being out of the bear market, I don't want to say we're done with that yet, because next year this thing can still get turned around. We do have some issues with a potential credit crisis. We could still see earnings start to come down, but we don't want to just completely put all our chips on that yet. We want to see, how high we can get this thing. I mean, we could literally see 43 to 4,400 in the end of the year. I think that's that's kind of pushing it, but 42.21 is my main target, and I'm going to stick with that, even though I do believe this thing could go a little bit higher, especially if January continues to be bullish. So that's kind of what I'm looking at on SPX and ES. All right, so let's start talking about this Tesla move, because the bears they've been thirsty for much lower on Tesla, and it's ridiculous. And this is what I talk about. You've probably heard me before talk about dynamic traders. Dynamic traders control the movement of stock prices, and they have been trying to work Tesla down lower for the last couple months. To be honest, I mean, this thing has clearly been in a downtrend, but finally broke out of that balance today. Some bears got crushed. We finished the day at 196, and I'm looking for higher on Tesla as well. I think it got way too low. We dropped down here to like 165 level, and it was unreal. Like I said, these dynamic traders, they can short these stocks so much, and I think Tesla still is heavily shorted, and we could see this thing squeeze. I mean, I'm not telling you to buy it now. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not telling you to buy, sell, hold, or whatever. You do what you want. But, I've been buying Tesla down at these lows for a while now. And we got a nice move today to where, you can either trim or you can just hold that stuff long term, which I'm doing. I'm not buying it to sell it right now. I'm buying equity to hold it long term, and I'll trade options if I want to play the upside on it. But, I mean, like I said, they've just been shorting it, and you can go on Twitter and just see how nasty people have gotten. The people that used to love Elon for saving the planet now hate him because he wants free speech on Twitter. It's nonsense. He called out Apple. It looks like him and Tim Cook actually had a good conversation today, though, because now he says that Apple was never going to take Twitter off the Apple Store. So the App Store was never going to remove Twitter. Tim Cook clarified that with Elon today, so I think that's all fine now. But we got people, on Twitter talking about they're selling their Teslas now and they're going to buy a VW. It's just nonsense like that. I mean, come on. Hitler invented the VW. The VW Beetle. I got pictures. Look at this picture of Hitler driving a freaking VW Beetle. Get out of here with that nonsense talking about comparing Elon to Hitler. Come on, that's just ridiculous. I mean, I've heard it all now. Some people just lost their damn minds. But as far as, we should see 200 on Tesla very soon again. It got way oversold, and they were just being ridiculous. And like I said, when you got dynamic traders with billions of dollars that all of a sudden hate Elon Musk because he's calling them out on Twitter, then they're gonna bring the stock down, and that's exactly what they did. But it looks like finally, between smart people and retail, they're actually starting to pick it back up, and I think we got a nice move ahead of us. This stock does not belong down here. I don't care. I mean, this is one of the rare stocks that deserves that big PE ratio. It deserves to trade at a multiple, because 5 to 10 years from now, Tesla is going to be so much more. It's already so much more than an EV company. Everyone wants to say, oh, it's another car company. It just produces EVs, electric vehicles. That's nonsense. Do some research. Tesla is way more than that, and it's going to be way more than that. They got their hands in way more things. And, eventually Twitter is probably going to be the X app, the everything app, kind of like WeChat in China. I mean, if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be Elon. If anybody's going to get us to Mars, it's going to be Elon. This dude is a genius. I mean, he's the Einstein of our time. And I'm not even one of the big freaking Elon fanboys that you see out here. But just by doing my research, I feel like the guy is on the right path. So looking at Tesla, I want to see this thing get to at least 200 in the next few days. That's kind of my short-term target for some options, and we'll see if we can break out over that range too. But today, obviously, we broke out of this balance, left it at 196, got over some key resistance levels. So I'll be looking for this to hold tomorrow, that 195 now. It's actually like where's my line at here? Yeah, like 194.90, 194.65, somewhere between there. 195 basically, if you want to call it even number. But yeah, that's what I'm kind of looking for on Tesla. I mean, you can just see some of the stuff I've showed you. It's just crazy. And then, you got this too on Barron's yesterday. Elon Musk is not happy with Apple's secret 30% tax on App Store purchases. He's not the first to air that sentiment, and he's unlikely to be the last. And like I said, him and Tim Cook had our conversation today, so he might have got some of that secret 30% tax waived. Who knows? Firstly, it isn't really a secret. Apple requires developers to sell their digital goods and services using the company's in-app payment system, which collects a commission of up to 30%. It's also not really a tax, more of a fee or a commission, as Apple puts it. Musk may have drawn attention to the policy, but others have been louder and had to work a lot harder to get anywhere with it. Fortnite publisher Epic Games and music streaming service Spotify have both been down this road with Apple and had only limited, if any, access, which, I think if you're on social media at all in the last couple of years, you probably remember seeing that about Fortnite and Spotify. It isn't just the App Store that has riled Musk, who turned his attention to the tech giant in a series of tweets Monday. He also revealed that Apple has mostly stopped advertising on his Twitter social media platform. The billionaire then questioned whether Apple hates free speech in America, which, I'm on board with Elon with that. As far as hating free speech in America, I think way too many people do hate free speech in America, especially the rich and powerful. There's many of them. I've went through and I've seen it. I've seen it myself. All of a sudden these people, I can go back to their Twitter feed and they were praising Elon a couple years ago. Now all of a sudden they're hating on Elon and trying to attack him left and right. So it says Apple spent an estimated $39 million on advertising on Twitter during the first 10 months of 2022 before Musk bought the company, according to data from ad tracking company Media Radar. It would appear Apple is now the latest company to withdraw advertising from the platform. It isn't just the App Store that has riled Musk, who turned his attention to the tech giant in a series of tweets Monday. He also revealed that Apple has mostly stopped advertising on his Twitter social media platform. The billionaire then questioned whether Apple hates free speech in America. And obviously, you see this with a lot more than Apple. Unfortunately, people have been getting silenced for some time now. I've watched so many creators get silenced, and that's why I'm very careful with what I say. Unfortunately, that's the way it has to be if I want to stay on YouTube or on any of the other apps besides Twitter. Twitter, I can actually speak my mind now, but anywhere else, you got to be careful because you get I've gotten warnings on Facebook. You can't really post nothing on Instagram because it's same owner. But Zuckerberg also had some words today too, and I think he might be kind of shifting his sentiment in that area too ever since the Hunter Biden story. So we're not even going to get into all that. But anyways, Apple, as far as Apple not advertising, I don't think it's so much that they hate free speech. Personally, it seems as though they're just hurting for money with all the crazy stuff going on in China. And another thing I don't really like that Apple did is they actually shut down the airdrop in China, so protesters could not use that, and basically set them up to get busted by their communist government. That obviously there's no free speech in China, and they're checking they got checkpoints where they're checking people's phones in China. That's how the only reason we're not seeing protests now is because they sent tanks into one of the city. So just like they've done before, and now they're they got checkpoints checking people's phones to see if they're communicating about protests. So they shut that down. Just that's what communists do, and that's where we don't want to see America go. But anyways, they said Apple spent an estimated $39 million advertising on Twitter during the first 10 months of 2022 before Musk bought the company, according to data from ad tracking company Media Radar. It would appear Apple is now the latest company to withdraw advertising from the platform. Like I said, I think it's partly it might be due to Musk, but now that him and Tim Cook have spoken, I think they might start our ad back in on that advertising, kind of like CBS. They said, "Oh, we're quitting Twitter," and then 2 days later they're back. I mean, look at the nonsense that's going on, and tell me, that you can trust our media. It's unfortunate, but it's true. All right, y'all. That's what I got for this video. I appreciate you watching Huji Trades. Be sure to check out the Discord bullprint. I'll leave the link in the description of all my videos so you get that free week trial. We got 5 great analysts, great community of traders. We have stock talk for the chat. We also have voice chat all trading hours every single weekday. So be sure to check that out as well. We got, like I said, we're talking stocks all day long. So come in and get that education. We also do 3 charting sessions every week in after hours. So come get that education, get that free trial. See if you want to join us for good. I appreciate y'all for watching. Smash that like and subscribe button for me. I love y'all. Peace.